Hey, good morning, everybody. This is your DFS coach, Choppodong, coming at you with another quick video on how to select pitchers. Today, we're going to narrow down the field, and I'm going to show you how I pick my pitchers. And I think today is an absolutely outstanding example. Before we do that, I want to let you know that I am working on a multi-part baseball series of videos designed to teach baseball from front to back to the newer daily fantasy sports player. I'm going to keep that VIP only, just to let you know. For the DFS Army subscribers, you guys are the reason we do what we do, and we value your membership and all of your loyalty. We really do appreciate it. So I'm going to try and assemble this possibly 6, 8, 10-part course and deliver it to you guys here before the end of the season. I'm in the process of recording it right now. So if you want more information on videos like this and you want to dive even deeper, you need to become a VIP inside dfsarmy.com. You'll see a link in the description. You can follow me at Choppodong on Twitter. Ask me all the questions you want to ask me. But our members get the goods. And to be honest with you, there's a 7-day trial attached with a lot of the stuff we put on Twitter using the code WIN, W-I-N. Yes, you have to put a credit card in, but we don't ever bill anybody. If you cancel before the 7 days, we're not going to chase you down. We're not going to try and draw off your account anyway. That's just not how we operate. Bottom line is, let's dive into pitchers today, and let's try and pick a few of these guys. I need you to grab a pen and paper and write some of this information down because it's going to come fast and furious. I've already written a lot of this down, so when I throw numbers at you, I may not be able to follow them with my pointer as quickly as we need to get this information out to you. So, because I still have chin music to write and whatever else, but I started doing my research and I found a few of these things. In today's slate being a mixed slate, being an early and a late slate, and I write for the main, is a little bit problematic. You can get confused very, very easily with some of these guys in their time. So to give credit where it's due, you can see that I'm using RotoGrinder's first look page. This is one of the places that I start my research on a daily basis. It's a pretty simple article to find. You give RotoGrinders your email address. You look up Derek Farnsworth, Notorious's article. I give him credit every time I use his stuff. It is absolutely top-notch material. This guy is a mentor to me, even though he doesn't know it. I've thanked him multiple times on Twitter and whatnot, so I try to give credit where it's due. He's a very, very good writer, and as far as research, he lays it out in a very, very clear and concise manner, which is what I try to do in my own articles. So I appreciate him leading the way. But what you're going to do is you're going to call up the first look. You're going to run down to the pitchers section of the article, and you're going to start looking for pitching matchups here. What I do today, we have a lot of TBDs down in here, which kind of stinks. So I'll sort by K percentage and order these guys by the pitcher's strikeout potential from top to bottom, and it's going to jumble up the times of the starts. So we're going to have to pay attention to that. Today, for ease of, I guess, organization or whatever you want to call it, I just started writing them down. Carrasco, Jimmy Nelson, Yu Darvish, Carlos Martinez, Aaron Nola, Marco Estrada, Mike Fiers, Arrieta, Gio, Brock Stewart, Ian Kennedy. I kind of stopped here because once you start getting down into the yellows and the reds, they're not very often going to match up and give me the K score that I look for when I add these two together. 18.7 plus 24.5 gives me what, a 42, 43.2, something like that. So a 430. That's just not good for what I'm getting. Now, it doesn't mean he's not in a good GPP spot. It just means he's just not in a spot that I'm going to be looking for, because I try not to get cute with pitcher. I try to pick the best from the best. And the three factors that I'm taking into consideration here are obviously their price point, B, their Vegas line, and C, their strikeout potential based on the matchup they have today. And this is the quickest way that I have come to narrow down these pitchers. When I look at guys like Carlos Carrasco, the first thing I start at is $9,800. I don't see a Vegas line, so that's going to hurt me for now, but I'll check back later in the day. And then I add his K percentage up with the opponent's K percentage, and I get a 47.9. So that gives me, I take the decimal point out, it gives me a 479 for what I call K score. I know that LA doesn't strike out a ton, so I'm already maybe being suppressed in my matchup a little bit. I want to see overwhelming Vegas support to pay up for a pitcher like this who doesn't have a K score, say, over 500. It's just what I've found tends to work. I don't want to overpay for pitcher. I'm going to narrow these pitchers down by K score and talk a little bit about their Vegas odds, and then we're going to talk price. And what we're going to do is find the cheapest pitcher in the best spot. That way we're getting the most bang for our buck. We're trying to find a cheaper pitcher that can compete with the big boys so that we don't necessarily have to pay up. Now, some nights we're going to have to pay up. That's just the way that it goes. Tonight may not be one of those nights. Let's look at, so we got Carrasco down. Jimmy Nelson at 8,400. His Vegas line, he's a dog. He's a plus 125. And his K score is a 462 when you add the op K and the K percentage together. He's also facing Washington. I'm not a big fan of attacking the Washington offense. Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish is a $10,000 pitcher on FanDuel. He's a minus 173 Vegas favorite, which helps. And his K score of 468 is okay. When it's got a little bit lower K score but a higher Vegas odd, Vegas favorite, I will take that into consideration. 10,000 is a little bit high. I want to see if I can find somebody cheaper, but for now, let's call him the leader in the clubhouse. Let's see if we can do better. When we look down at Carlos Martinez, we're going to get a cheaper pitcher at 8,900. We're going to get a little less when it comes to Vegas odds at 153. Not quite as strong of a favorite as Yu Darvish, but it's still kind of minimal, to be honest with you. The 482 K score, the 22.6 added to the 25.6 over here, adds up to 47, 48, 48.2. 482 is the K score, and so the K score goes up. The Vegas favorite comes down a little bit. It's sort of a wash. So now when I look at the price, I'd rather save the $1,000. Okay, Carlos Martinez is now my favorite in the clubhouse. If I drop down to Aaron Nola, 8,700. Houston's not striking out. That's going to suppress his total. So when we look at his K score, 427 and facing the Houston offense, no thanks. Not for $8,700 anyway. He needs to pitch the night of his life to pay this salary off, so no thanks. Marco Estrada, a little bit softer matchup. 7,100 starting to get my eye. 7,100 pretty cheap for a pitcher. Let's see if he's in a good spot. He's a minus 160 favorite. That's pretty solid. A 497 K score. I love the 500 mark for K score. It's just a nice round number, and he's almost right up against it. So I've got a little bit better K score, 497 versus Carlos Martinez's 482. I've got a little bit better Vegas odds at a 160 minus, versus a minus 153. And I've got another $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 in savings on salary, dropping from $8,900 to $7,100. I'm very excited about Marco Estrada tonight. So just on the surface, you may do some digging, you may find some better numbers that suggest he's going to get blown up. But I'm telling you, with a K score like this, Vegas supports him in a cheap salary. You're not going to go too terribly wrong with Marco Estrada. Let's see if we can find another couple of options, though. If we drop down to Mike Fiers, we love attacking Philadelphia. 8,600 though. Now, when I'm comparing to a 7,100, this 8,600, you better give me a lot more support out of Vegas than a 120. This minus 120, I'll take the minus 160, thanks. And with the K score, when I look at the K scores and combine them, I've got a 471 for Fiers and a 497 for Estrada. So I've got a higher price, a lower Vegas total or lesser Vegas support, and a lower K score. No thanks. Why would I pay 8,600 for that crap when I can pay 7,100 and get better, other Vegas experts and statistics telling me that Marco Estrada's in the better spot tonight. Drop down to Jake Arrieta. Arrieta, 9,400. You better give me a lot better Vegas support than the 160 Estrada's getting, and you do with the minus 196 here, with the almost minus 200. So that's okay. And then when I scroll over and look at the K scores here and add those two together, for Arrieta I get a 452. So it's significantly less than the 497 of Marco Estrada. But the Vegas odds are, I would say, significantly better. I know it's only 40 points, but I would say it's significantly better. So is it worth the 2,000? Maybe. If you want to attack Chicago, the White Sox here, as opposed to trying to attack Oakland, that's up to you. It looks like Oakland strikes out a little bit more than Chicago does. So maybe you go back and forth. Maybe you take the money and run. But I would say Jake Arrieta is viable. I mean, I would say that Yu Darvish and Carrasco are viable, but I like Arrieta tonight too. I just like Estrada better because of the price. I dropped down to Gio at 8,500, and again, I better see something strong in the Vegas column. I don't at a minus 125. And then when I roll over to the K score and add those two numbers together, what I'm going to find is a 488, which is good. It's up there with Estrada. Gio's in a good spot. But, you know, is he worth 1,000, 1,400 or so more and facing Milwaukee, who can really hit the ball around? Maybe. Maybe not. I would consider him more of a GPP type play because that feels risky. It's still a pretty good spot, but it feels a little bit risky. I don't want to say Marco Estrada is safe. I don't really even want to say Arrieta is safe, but I may like the Estrada upside of the 497 K score along with the 160 favorite out of Vegas. And then the cheap price tag means a little bit less risk for me salary cap wise. I can maybe afford a little bit better bat. I still like Estrada better, but yeah, Gio's in play. Brock Stewart out in LA, they're going to carry huge favorites when this line comes on. I already looked it up at a different site and wrote it down. It's a minus 230, so way better than even Arrieta. You're attacking Minnesota, which doesn't scare me. The thing is, Brock Stewart doesn't have a lot of innings pitched under his belt. He's only got about 13 innings. I think he's got 10 strikeouts in that. That's what gives us the 22 strikeout percentage. So you're on a very, very, very small sample. But as a result, you've got a very, very, very cheap pitcher that Vegas thinks LA is going to win the game. If he goes long enough, if you can find data that shows that he might pitch, 5, 6 innings, be eligible for a quality start, be eligible for the win, then, you might take a chance on a guy like this. That is dirt cheap, and it's very attractive for somebody getting such a strong level of support out of Las Vegas at a minus 230 favorite. So you got 5,500, which is another $1,600 under Estrada. You've got a much stronger Vegas support at a minus 230 favorite. You've got a K score of 446, so call it 450. It's okay. Now, if the guy was a $9,000 pitcher, I wouldn't be excited about a 450 K score, but out of a $5,500 pitcher, that's okay. He might strike some guys out tonight. I wouldn't mind taking a cheap shot on him in some tournaments. In fact, I wouldn't even mind it in some league play. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. If you find some offenses that you really want to attack and stack up and really run out there and take some chances on them, as we know, pitching is more consistent than hitting from night to night. So if you're going to gamble somewhere, you don't really want to gamble with your pitching, but to set yourself aside and get yourself a lot of upside in a tournament or in bigger league play, it's okay. I can see it. In cash games, I think it's still too risky to put all of your money in your bats. I think you need to invest a little bit larger portion of your salary into your pitchers, especially when we have somebody who's in a pretty solid matchup tonight up there with Marco Estrada at 7,100. You can still afford some quality bats. It's not like you're paying $12K for Kershaw. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was a quick rundown of pitchers. Hopefully you can see the process. You can see the process of elimination. You can see the numbers that I look at, kind of where I'm going back and forth. So when I put these guys in chin music, like I do every day, this is how I'm doing it. I'm going down, I'm narrowing out the choices. I'm looking at their salaries. I'm looking at their K scores. I'm looking at their Vegas support. And I'm just kind of trying to massage those three factors and quickly determine who is in the better spot for the money. And it changes from day to day because these teams obviously switch around and the pitchers have different strikeout ability. So when you do this, you can quickly get down. I mean, what are we, 15 minutes into a video, and I'm rambling a little bit. So you can do this in 10 to 15 minutes on your own every single day. So that's a little bit of sample of some of the coaching that you get inside the DFS Army. If you want more and you want it on a deeper level, follow the link in the description. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe out here on YouTube. Help me build the brand, help me teach more people, because together we can become better DFS players. Thanks, guys. We will talk to you soon.